I'm going to be like, Dear Jenny, Aaron picked me up at the airport, but he wouldn't take me to the podcast. What should I do? Well.
Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, we'll find a friend to care it.
Woo! Internet Troll says, welcome to Our Place Out Loud. I am your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker, here with a panel of wise and wonderful teens. We've got also a room full of wonderful people. We're having summer fun. Are we not, kids? Yes. We are having summer fun. We have Maddie, who's got her headphones all tangled in her summer fun. And we have Kiyamute, Montana, Rhodey, Will, and Jake, of course, is in the booth. We have Justin. We have Matt. We have Yulia. We have Trish. We have me. Teresa's here, of course, and she made pizza. How's the pizza, you guys?
Fantastic.
Great. Good. Now, I know that I had promised you Jenny, and I promised you Jenny in good faith. However, Jenny is with Aaron. So once you know that, you then can surmise they could be anywhere. It appears that Aaron took Jenny to Hollywood for reasons unknown because it's podcast day and there's a lot of traffic. Yeah, it's rush hour at our time where we live here in California. So they should have been here an hour, 2 hours early. Kiyamute, you were here at 5 o'clock, right? Show starts at 7.
Yes, I was.
Why wasn't Aaron here at 5 o'clock, do you think, Kiyamute?
For some reason, he ended up in Hollywood.
Yeah, and when you are Jenny and you're traveling from England and you're getting yourself to California, it really is kind of ironic that it takes you an additional 4 hours to get from West Hills to Sherman Oaks.
Yes, it is.
So we're a little bit confused, and they've got some splaining to do, Lucy. And if you get that reference, you're cool.
Aaron, more specifically, not
Aaron.
Jenny.
Oh, yeah, it's not Jenny. I mean, she doesn't even know how to drive on the correct side of the street, so how could this be her fault? I think she's been
I'd
taken
understand.
hostage, and she may have joined a cult.
Been
So
kidnapped.
we'll find out. But I would like to write to her, Dear Jenny, so you were supposed to be on the show today, and you didn't arrive. What should I do? What would Jenny say? Rhodey? What would Jenny, in all her wisdom, what would Jenny say? Be Jenny. Who can channel Jenny? If only Austin were here. But no, he's in the car with those people I just mentioned. Jenny would say, well, oh, you have an answer, Jake?
I found a photo of Jenny the missing guinea pig.
Right.
So please, help us find Jenny.
That's fantastic. Are they in Hollywood?
I have no idea what any of this stuff says. Hold on.
All right, so we do have a picture of Jenny on the wall up there if someone wants to grab it from the wall and put it in front of one of the cameras. So that's what Jenny would be looking like if she were here. Matt's grabbing it.
Put her on the guest seat.
She's a fetching redhead. She is, with a British accent. All right, here we go,
She was
Matt.
a bird.
Here we go, Matt. Here we go. There's Jenny. Cut to camera Jenny. Cut to...
Hi, Jenny.
Cut to... There's Jenny. Oh, yes. Wait. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Java. Yay, it's Jenny. And she's wearing a hoodie, so you know we love her. All right, so we'll see if they get to... We have an hour. We have a little bit under an hour for Jenny to make an appearance. And I would say that it's a successful evening, even if Jenny arrives at 6:59. We'll still cheer for her. And Jake has interesting news. He's been having summer fun at Camp... puppetmonster.com. What's your camp?
Close enough.
Okay.
Oh, that's Will Mears one side. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, that's not. Oh, yeah,
That
cool.
was
Okay. Yeah, I'm working at a summer camp called Planet Bravo, where you teach little kids how to make video games or movies or robots or something nerdy. It's all about making the littler generations just as nerdy as we are. And I'm helping people. Last week I helped people make video games, and this week we're modding people's objects into Minecraft. And there, my name is Professor Meowingtons. And I can't tell if you can see this. I'm going to walk up, but it's a drawing of me as Professor Meowingtons.
I want to see that. Oh, did you make that? Did you
No,
make
I did
that?
not make it. My friend, who's also a counselor, made
That's
it.
so
but yeah.
cute.
Jake, did you come up with that name, or
Professor
was
Meowingtons
that your creation?
it's the name of someone famous's cat. I don't remember
Sounds
who.
like a
It's
royal cat, I
it
feel
exists somewhere, but I stole it and I like it better.
I like it too.
All right, so what is a typical question that you may get from, like, an 8-year-old computer genius?
90% of the time, it's we just told them what to do, and they're small, so they forgot what to do, because that's just what they do. So basically, I just sit around and remind them what it is they're supposed to do, or like help them copy and paste, because shortcuts are for some reason a really hard thing to do for them. But yeah, most of the time it's just like, oh yeah, help me put score into my video game, or make the camera scroll after the person. It's kind of fun though. I like it.
Is there any way we can put a camera on Trish right now? Trish is trying to untangle the headphone cords.
It's like
Today
the
has been-
hardest thing
All right.
ever.
So Vicky Abelson said that Mercury is in retrograde, and that's why everything is so screwy.
I see.
Does anyone else believe in that?
Well,
Oh, do you,
now
Montana?
I don't, but I was in a store a few days ago, and there was this chick who was freaking out, literally just like, Mercury is in retrograde! That's why nobody can communicate. Anyway,
It must be
that
true,
was how I
Because
knew that.
women who write, it was just as much like crap hitting the fan as here at Our Place Out Loud. And it, the crap and the fan are kind of exemplified in this current
Yes, they
headphone
are.
cord tangle boondoggle that Trish has
This is
involved
the worst
herself.
thing I've
We
ever
should make
seen.
this a video game and we would make millions of dollars.
See if you can break the world record for
How
how
does
quick you
this
can
happen?
untangle
Because
that.
Trish, I'm looking over at you and I'm seeing that you are further entangling them. It's
Can
a
you
problem
fix it?
only Matt can solve.
Well, we just don't get headphones.
Oh no. The question is, like, whenever you have like a really, really wrinkled slinky, don't you always ask yourself, how did it get this way? Like, who decided, okay, it's this badly twisted, twist it some
Brody
more?
understands.
That's how I feel about Rubik's Cubes. Like,
Yeah.
how did they ever
How
once
did you
be
get
a
get
real
this
thing?
specialized?
broken?
Mhm.
What happened? Where is Jen? Yulia just made the best. Is this going to be on Instagram? Okay, cut to me.
Oh my god, how did that even
Yulia,
happen?
you are like a genius. Where is Jenny? Do you have Jenny? Return her to us. We will trade you Internet Troll for Jenny. We will trade you Internet Troll and Bo Bergdorf for Jenny. That was not called for. I'm sorry. I apologize to the entire Bergdorf family of Idaho or Montana. Follow us on Instagram and on Twitter, or you can type hashtag Our Place Podcast, and you could talk with other people on Twitter who are talking about hashtag Our Place Podcast. If you make this a thing, and if we trend, then all the hip kids and cats will be talking about hashtag Our Place Podcast. So make that a thing that happens. So we're on Twitter, Our Place Network. We're on Instagram, Our Place Network. We are on Facebook, Our Place Network. And then you could go to YouTube, or you could go watch the show later on YouTube, and you could subscribe to our YouTube channel. You could also give a review of the podcast in the iTunes Store, or of the app in the iTunes App Store. But don't go to the iTunes Store and review the app, which I've noticed people have been doing. If you're going to the iTunes Store, review the show. If you're going to the App Store, review the app. All right, this comes in from Sierra.
Sierra Rocks.
Thank you. I don't speak screen name. Hey everyone, I need some advice. Okay, so I think I am falling in love with this guy. He's my brother's friend, and he comes over often, and we talk and laugh a lot. And he came over the other day, and he slept over, and we laughed and messed around, and he came into my room a couple of times, and it was his birthday, so I made him a cake, and he hugged me. But honestly, I really think I'm falling for him, but I don't know if he even likes me back, and I think it'd be kind of weird to ask my brother's friend for his number. I don't know what to do. So I don't know if he likes me back, because I really like him a lot. Please help with some advice. And then Erin went on to ask their ages, and she replied that she is 16 and her brother's friend is 15. So I think that a 15-year-old boy finding out that the 16-year-old girl who's the sister of his brother's friend would be quite flattering, if nothing else. But I want to throw it to you guys. Go ahead, Will.
Well, the main thing I think you should think about is how it'll make your brother feel. Especially, I'm guessing he's a close friend of the brother, right? Because he's coming over all the time. And you gotta discuss it with him. It may be tough. He may be pessimistic about it, but I feel like, if you're gonna get anywhere, if you're not gonna harm their friendship or make it awkward, you have to run it by him, tell him the situation, tell him exactly what you're telling us, and anything more, and make sure he's okay with it, because, I mean, that could really put a strain on their friendship. you know?
Exactly. Brother comes first.
Yeah, exactly.
Maddie?
You have a really great point, Will, because
Thank you.
I have a story about this.
Ooh.
So here's what happened: is that I had a friend, and my friend liked my brother, and that ended up being a thing that happened. And I was kind of aware of half of the knowledge until like they were like they both kind of had agreed to tell me together, which was really awkward because like
They both sat you down and told you together? Or how
no,
did it
it
work?
kind of like it was really strange. Because she told me like your brother is kind of like awesome, and I'm like yeah, okay, cool, yeah, I know he's my brother, yeah, I got it. And then she's like no,
got it.
no, like no, but like he's really awesome and kind of cute, and I'm like I don't see it that way, no, and she's like but I think he likes me, and I kind of like him, and I'm like how long has this been happening? And she's like well, we kind of want to go out and just wanted to check with you. And I'm like,
See,
no. So it's still
said
awkward.
you gotta
said
say
no?
that before.
No, I was just very confused, and I was like, well, I mean, I can't physically stop you, but it would be really strange.
So when did this all happen?
A couple years ago, and it's still awkward.
Does she still like your brother?
No, she has currently dated several other people since then.
So was your reason... Well, tell us... We want to know kind of like the root cause of you saying no. Was it that you felt that she'd be hanging out with your brother and not you?
Well, there
Or,
was the
like-
fact that, like, what if she was just kind of, like, showed up to my house and was like, hey, I'm not here for you. I'm here to see someone else
Right.
in your house. That'd be weird. Also, I didn't want it to be like she didn't want to come over to hang out with me because he was there, and that would be awkward. Like, if they broke up.
Right.
I used if then. I was not going to let them get married. That was not going to happen.
But why
But-
not? Like, if one day, like, if you guys are all in your 20s, if she wants to marry your brother, are you not going to be nice to her?
I think that,
Oh, no, I'll be nice to her. It's just her in particular.
Did you feel like she was being conniving about it?
No, I just feel like it would have been more respectful to me as her friend and the sibling of the person who she's trying to date to tell me first before they had previously discussed it.
So they discussed it. You just
Yeah.
didn't like the way it went
Yeah,
down.
because they kind of already agreed to go out. They just wanted to make sure I knew. And it wasn't like they wanted to ask if it was okay. It was more just like, just so you know, casually mentions
So-
thing.
That you felt like they had been conspiring behind your back. That's the part that felt like a betrayal?
No, it was more the fact that she didn't think about how it would affect our friendship.
So what Will is saying is the brother comes first. First
Mhm.
talk to the brother.
Yeah.
Because
And-
they're only a year apart, and
Yeah.
that's going to be really weird to him.
but
to
at
find-
least you
yeah.
get some advantage if you do it, as you said. It's less awkward if you do it before all of that happens. If you say,
Yeah.
"Look, you know, I like her. Are you okay with this?" Before any of the dating starts happening, because if you just
Yeah, exactly.
tell someone after all that, it's just like, okay, I mean, what are you just asking for my blessing or what? I mean, that's kind of, you
Yeah.
just went behind my back and didn't, I mean, this is a near and dear issue to me.
Yeah,
So, you know.
Right. Okay, I
Mhm.
understand. That's really good. That's really good
Yeah.
advice because I think they thought they had done it right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they thought that they had, done the right thing by, like, telling me about it, but it would have been better if, like, it's partly my brother's fault, because, like, he didn't think about, oh, okay, so if I date my sister's friend, what's the relationship going to be like, because, the siblings live in the same house most of the time, so it's like, that person who is connected with both of the other two people, that's going to be a weird dynamic in the
Mhm.
house.
You
So
have to
it's
think it all through.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, is Kira coming over later? Oh, I don't know, to see me or you. Like,
Right.
weird.
Montana?
Sorry, Montana.
That's okay. I just don't think that this is a situation in which, like, it's ever going to work out, because at some point somebody is always going to be alienated. Like, if the sister goes and gets with her brother's friend, then the brother's going to be alienated. Or if the brother's just like, no, then it's just weird for everybody. So, it's really important to talk with the brother, but don't ask for his blessing, because that's just going to make him feel like he has to, like, not just condone but also support this. He doesn't have to. He's under no obligation to do that, and probably won't do it of his own accord. But it's important to share with your brother how you feel, because a lot of the time when you fall for somebody, it's like not even a thing you can help.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good to get it out there and not be too presuming about it. You?
I think it really depends on the relationship between brother and sister, then how close you guys are and how much you like each other. And the only thing that, like, what I first imagined, since I don't have any sisters that I grew up with anyway, I imagine me dating one of my friend's sisters and how weird that would be. And there's certain friends that, like, I see the relationship that they have with their sister, or it could be like, that might work. I would never do it because it would just still be weird for me. And then there's friends where it'd be like, no, that would definitely make them uncomfortable and they would hate that. Like,
Right. But there are lots of successful love stories where someone married the sibling of a friend.
I also
So,
I also think that it tends to matter less once you get older
and are living in separate houses.
exactly.
Right. Got it. Well, we'd like to introduce Jenny. Jenny has made it to the podcast. Give it up for Jenny. Everybody, all the way from England. That's where you live, right?
Yeah.
England, and that's a country on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean?
I think so.
Yes. And how long have you been from England?
For 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, get really close to the mic. We didn't have a chance to teach you all the mic technique
Yeah.
because
I didn't
Aaron
know.
got you here late. And
it wasn't
Aaron.
my fault.
No. Oh, no. We've been slamming on Aaron. Rewatch the show. It's pretty entertaining. In fact, we put out a wanted poster for you. So you grew up speaking in this English accent
Yes.
that we find so
Yeah.
entertaining over here.
Apparently.
Was
yeah.
it difficult for you to learn the English accent?
No, it came pretty naturally.
Pretty naturally? Excellent. And I understand that you want to be a psychologist.
Yes.
So how did you first find Our Place? We get to ask all the Jenny questions because we've known Jenny in Our Place and for a very long time, and now we get to ask her, how did you come upon the Our Place app?
Honestly, I was looking for a journal because it used to be called Journals. And then I just found that people were asking questions and answering them, and I thought maybe I have something to say here, and it just kind of went from there.
And then it just kind of snowballed?
Yeah, I realized that I like answering people's questions.
Yes, and you're very good at it. And then we gave you your own column how long ago?
About a year ago, I think, just over a year.
So what is you are the only person on this planet I know of who does what I do, which is every day before we can lay our head down on the pillow, we have to make sure we're caught up on our questions, right? So what's your routine like?
I answer quite a lot before I get out of bed because with my time zone, a lot of questions get asked in the night. So when I wake up, there's a bunch. So
And you do it
I
with
answer
your
them before I get out of bed while I'm having breakfast, and then again before I go to bed, generally.
so that you always feel like you're caught up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Have you ever gotten one where you're just like, I don't know.
a lot.
Yeah.
I've had a few of them this week, and it's taken me a while to catch up on them.
Yeah. And sometimes I find like if I get up and like, just walk around, the idea of what I need to say will come to me, and by
Yeah.
the time I get back to my computer, I'll have some sort of sense of the best way to handle it. Or I'll have like this epiphany, like, oh, wisdom, and
Yeah.
and it could be something quite different than I've ever said before, because I often feel like I've said everything that there possibly is to say to young people. There's not one concept I haven't attempted to convey, and then there'll be a question that's just like, wow, that's the first time. Like we had the question about that's going to be the next question we get to about the girl who started wearing a hijab, and she's being teased on the bus, and I realized I had never really addressed that.
Yeah, I just read that question.
Yeah,
and
so
I didn't
that's
really
why
ever
it's in the
answer
show
that.
this week, even though it's under anonymous, and I like to only put questions on the show that people say their names. But this question was so specifically interesting to me because it had to do with, as I was sort of blogging about it, I looked up the term race bullying because that term popped into my head, and it turns out that is an actual thing. And I started to think about the concept of race bullying as being like probably the least thing that you should be upset about, because you're like one of like millions of people of your race. So if they haven't found anything specific about your personality to pick on, then yay. Because it just seems like as we become more blended as a people on planet Earth, it just seems more and more ridiculous to me, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. So here in America, or at least here in Los Angeles, there's like a lot of different people. Do you come from a land or a part of England where there's lots of different races, or
Yeah.
like
yeah,
so
I
who
mean,
tends to?
in the cities is very multicultural. I
Mhm.
think it seems like it.
How about at university where you go?
Yeah, probably not as much, to be honest.
Oh, more British people.
Well, Welsh people. I go to uni in Wales University.
Oh, so do all Welsh people look like Tom Jones?
A lot of them.
Oh, interesting. I'd go. Any questions for Jenny? Go ahead, Rhodey.
Was it hard to adjust to having your own column and answering that many questions when you first got it?
Yeah, it was because I have to answer every question in my column rather than just pick and choose from the app what I like to answer. So then it takes longer to answer questions because I'm answering things that I might avoid normally because I have no idea what to say.
Yeah, it is hard. Like when you're just in the app, you can say, well, I have an answer for this, I don't have an answer for that, and just answer the one that you have an answer for. But when you have a column called Ask Jenny, you don't really want to leave one empty. But one of the big problems she has is other people answering before Jenny, and then
They're pretty good now, actually.
they've been really good lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will.
So just want to get into the grassroots of this all. Like, how did you come about the app? How did you find it?
Did I already?
She was Googling, she was looking for a journal.
Yeah.
And we used to be called
yeah.
journals,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Then she found out we had advice, and she loves advice. Yes,
Cool.
Montana?
This is more a question about like British people.
I've had a lot of them this week.
Okay, so like we're really, really interested by like in America about like British accents. It's not the same thing in England, right? Or like, what do you think about
yeah.
American accents?
Not a lot. Yeah, we don't have the same kind of.
You're not fixated with us?
No,
we
not
are,
as
we
much.
are with you?
Okay.
It might be
That's
more
sad to
normal
me.
for us because we watch so many films with American accents in.
Okay.
So that is, it's normal.
Because
Really.
this year in my school, we had like 2 British people, and every time they talk, like everybody just freaks out.
Yeah. You know what the cutest thing ever is? The like little like 4-year-olds with
Yeah.
a British accent.
I
Hello,
see
mommy.
those all the
Those
time
are
at
so
my
cute.
work.
Like, who taught you how to speak this way? It's so adorable.
I know.
And you used to be a little 4-year-old with a British
Yeah,
accent.
I was.
How cute were you? All right, so let's get to this question. Oh, we have more? Oh, before I go to
Hi.
you, Maddie, let me just say that the phone number is 888-531-7171. If you would like to call and speak to Jenny in person on the phone, please call and do so, because Jenny's here with us. Go ahead, Maddie.
So I've got a question for you. You said you were interested in psychology. I am also, and my mom is like in the profession of psychology here. What's it like professionally over there in psychology?
In what way?
Like, oh well, I guess you wouldn't really have the experience of it being here.
Yeah.
But like,
You have, like, psychiatrists and psychologists?
do you like still
You-
have to like take all the millions and millions of tests to like be certified and then like
Yes.
take? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have the same diagnosis, like, in terms of, like, we have, what's it called, what do you call DSM, thank you. Do you have the same kind of diagnosis of what might be someone's issue or
Yeah,
someone's
we have a
diagnosis?
DSM.
Yeah?
But it's slightly different.
Oh, it is, okay.
Is it called the DSM or is it like a?
Yeah,
a
it's called a
different- okay.
DSM. People are more likely to be diagnosed with bipolar in England, but schizophrenia in America with the same symptoms.
Oh.
Well,
So
we just
there are differences like that.
we're also taught that those are the same thing.
Yeah.
So we use both terms. I think bipolar has become more customary,
Mm-hmm.
maybe because it sounds friendlier. Or schizophrenia sounds like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
you better get that checked out. Bipolar's like, you'll be happier tomorrow.
Oh. God.
I'm sorry. I'm really...
But yeah, did you guys experience the recent change in like all the like diagnoses?
Yeah,
'Cause-
it was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just recently they changed a lot of stuff with like
Mhm.
the diagnoses. Did you
Yeah,
also
we have
experience-
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
So you guys might go to the same conventions.
Yeah.
That'd be really good. So is it easy for somebody who feels like they need to speak to a therapist to go, or do you have is your health is that something that's covered under your healthcare plan?
In theory, it's
Mm.
it's covered by the NHS, which is free healthcare.
But would it take a long time to get the appointment?
But yeah,
Yeah.
like there's long waiting lists and stuff.
Yeah.
So it needs improving.
It's the same in Canada. Like, that's one of the trade-offs, I guess, to having free healthcare. All right, so let's jump to the question from Anonymous. She writes, I am a Muslim and started wearing a hijab scarf only a few months ago, and it made me feel better about myself. On the bus for the past few months, people started talking about my race and how we are ugly and my religion and how we would bomb something down if we weren't happy. I always cry in my seat and I try to make no attention come to myself. Now I really want to rip my scarf off my head and never wear it again. So I wrote to her and I said, it seems like what I've been learning since I've been doing this is that reporting bullying does not work as well as if you can muster the courage to take on the person and just get really loud and say something really specific that everyone around you hears, because it seems like they want to be able to do this sort of without anyone pointing out, you're being horrible. They would love to continue doing that. And in this case specifically, if you were to say, you don't understand anything about my race or my religion, we are peaceful people, there are extremists and terrorists in every race and religion, I'm not one of them. The person in this little group who's being a terrorist is you. And if you could practice that at home, and then the next time it's happening, have a friend support you to say, yeah, because that just, it really helps a ton if someone just goes, yeah. Maddie?
Well, I mean, also, fun fact, so there are also a whole bunch of different, I don't know the exact ones, but depending on, the type of scarf and, the length of the scarf and the way it's wrapped can, signify which, culture and which, religion that person is from. So it's not, all the same, there's one headscarf and that's it. So, I mean, a good way to kind of combat that would just be yeah, okay, so what is my race? Where am I from? Tell me a little bit about my culture if it's so horrible. Please enlighten me. Because
that's good.
Because a lot of people go, I really want to visit Africa to help the kids. And it's well, what country? And they go, Africa.
Will.
Oh, yeah, just kind of stemming off that there are people who insult people in that kind of way are just ignorant and feel bad about themselves for the most part. That's usually the case. And, I mean, if she were to keep going, if she kept it on, it could not only show herself, but show the other people, if she continues to see them, that it doesn't bother her as much, and that'll only make her stronger, and her belief for it, and just the power of the scarf, because I know they take it really seriously. It just make it all stronger, and I really think do not rip the scarf off if you believe in it. If it's
if it's part of what you believe, then you'll
Power
feel
to
better
you.
about yourself
Yeah.
if you leave it on, which is what I think you want to do. You just want to be left alone. No one wants to be different. Go ahead, Kyo.
Yeah, I agree with you, Wheezy, that speaking up is the best solution. Reporting it doesn't really help, especially if, you hate to say, but there's schools and places where reporting it, the teachers might be some of the culprits, and that might not even help. I think, I want whoever this is to know that we all want you to keep wearing the scarf, and we want you to stay strong, and that we think it's cool, and that you're showing your culture, and hopefully someone down the line is interested in your culture and everything, and wants to learn about it, because you should be proud of your culture. You shouldn't feel ashamed or anything. Don't feel like there's something wrong with you just because of what these people say. They're wrong. As simple as that.
Montana?
Yeah, I think it's really good for her to keep wearing the hijab, because it is a part of who she is, not just her culture. It's something that she decided for herself that makes her feel good, that she wants to do. And it's definitely hard with people as ignorant as this, but it would be good to to maybe just tell them how awful and ignorant they're being, because oftentimes if somebody's making fun of somebody, everybody will join in, but once that person shows them how just awful they're being, everybody feels ashamed and just quiets down immediately.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I actually don't really know much about hijabs and what do you know what they signify? Because I always been
I wouldn't
curious
want
about
to. I could guess, but I wouldn't want to try to say it wrong. But I think it has to do with humility and being modest.
Oh, okay.
But please call if you know more about the history of the hijab and why Muslim women wear it. We have a caller. Who's there? Lonely Heart.
Hi.
Hi. How are you, honey?
I'm good. How are you?
Can you believe Jenny's here in person?
I know. Hi, Jenny.
Hi.
How excited? You know
Can you
Lonely
say
Heart.
Nargles,
I know
Jenny?
Lonely Heart.
What do you need her to say?
Can you say Nargles?
Nargles?
Like the Harry Potter?
Nargles?
Is it just the way she says it?
It's like the whole Luna Lovegood. She has the voice.
Yes, she definitely does. Do you have any more questions for Jenny?
Any more words?
Because that was a
I
really
don't have a
short
question
answer.
for Jenny, but I have a comment on the topic.
Oh, yes, please. Please come.
Okay, so it's kind of the same, I guess, but like when I'm on the bus, I'll get a lot of comments about my cane and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be like, why? They'll be like, why do they let the blind kid out? She's gonna like destroy everything, and then I'll just make some random blind joke really loudly.
Wait, people
And
say
then
stuff like
everyone
that
will-
out loud?
Everyone will just like be quiet.
No, wait. People say stuff like that out loud to a blind kid?
Oh yeah,
On what kind of bus?
on like a public transportation bus or like a school bus.
So
Sometimes.
this would be grown-ups?
Yeah.
And they think you can't hear?
Why would they?
That's so horrible.
That's crazy. Like, I can't even imagine like being in a situation where people are saying that kind of thing. That's
I've never, ever, ever heard anybody say anything
Yeah.
out loud about a blind person in
I-
my life.
I remember watching some kind of TED Talk, and like it was a blind person, and he was talking about how it made like everybody around him was so nice, and like people like felt better helping him and stuff. Like that's insane.
So tell us what you do again, Lonely Heart. When you hear someone say, "Who let the blind kid out?" What will you tend to say?
I'll just usually make some really loud blind joke like, it's kind of weird that some sighted people have no vision at all.
Oh, really
He
good.
just clearly has a problem with himself if he has to insult someone else for, what they have. Like, who is he to do that, right?
And also, who like makes fun of somebody who's blind? Like that's awful. That's like kicking puppies.
Yeah, we've came a long way. It's just a modern society.
Uh-huh.
I guess not.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you're
I
unless
thought
you're the
so.
blind person and you spend a whole day as a blind person, you really don't know the kinds of stuff. Because don't forget, blind people have super hearing. So I'm teasing you, Lonely Heart. But
No, it's true.
it is true. And I think that unless you've like spent a day wearing a headscarf as a Muslim girl or on a bus, as like you don't know the types of things that you would hear if you spent a day or a week being that person.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all kinds of like real idiots in the world that just think that they can say like oink oink to a fat person who passes them. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Did you just? I have actually overheard people making fun of a fat person, like with my own ears. Like, that's so sickening to me.
Why do
Because
people do that?
because they probably don't like themselves.
Yeah, they have, more. They say it always has more to do with them than it has to do with the person they're insulting. Because
Mhm.
I mean,
Well, thank you so much for calling and sharing that, Lonely Heart. Really, really means a lot
Thank
to
you.
us. All right. Now you get to say you met Jenny in person.
I did.
I
I
did.
met Jenny.
You
Hello,
did.
Jenny.
Yeah, we all love Jenny. All right. We'll see you in the app. We are at 888-531-7171. You can call us if you would like to speak to Jenny or if you'd like to talk about anything going on. We're going to jump to the next question. This comes from really good screen name, especially awesome. I need a new phone. Jake, are you plugged in and ready to go on this? Because it's going to be a steel cage grudge match between you and Will, I think, maybe.
how come?
Oh, just wait.
Are you an iPhone holder?
I need a new phone. My parents want a smartphone, which I really don't care. So since I already have the iPod Touch 5G, I thought it would be easier to just transfer to an iPhone. What kind of iPhone should I get that is least expensive and handy? The 4S and 5 is what I'm cool with, but I really don't know. Or should I get a Galaxy? My parents have one and is somewhat confusing, and I don't want to learn a new phone over again. But is the Galaxy better than an iPhone? Did you hear me, Jake?
Okay, do I rant now?
No, I'm not done. I just want to make sure you're paying attention. I can hear you guys talking. Is the Galaxy better than an iPhone, meaning price, storage, camera, and so forth? Any advice is welcome. I'm going to always say an iPhone is better than anything else in your house, including most of your children. But,
Most.
yeah, most. Oh, Matt has it. Matt has a Galaxy. Matt has a droid. Jake has a droid. Who wants to go first? Jake?
I got a droid also.
I don't know how I get on camera. Am I back here? Cool. Okay, so. Yeah. Okay, so I have an Android device. A lot of my friends have iPhone devices. I'm happy with this. They're happy with theirs. My honest advice is get whatever phone you want. There is no better. But my other advice is do your research. Don't just say, oh, I like iPhones because they're popular. Everything that's popular isn't good. Do all of your research, look into everything, and find whichever phone is attractive to you most. It doesn't really matter. It's a personal preference thing. There is no better.
It sounds like she should go with what she's familiar with, unless she likes to really learn new things. Go ahead, Will.
Well, I can tell you I've had both. I've had the iPhone 3G and the Galaxy S3, and what I realized is they're both so exciting to have at first. You think, oh, this is revolutionary, this is insane, but after a while, once you learn the phone, they're both easy to learn, you can figure it out. But, after a while, the phone really becomes how you treat it, what you do with it. It's not even necessarily if it's an iPhone or a Galaxy. I mean, yeah, they may have a few different features, size differences. Maybe one has, a more, just a better HD camera, but really, it's how you treat it.
Let me explain something to you, Will. The iPhone has our place. Okay,
Yeah, well-
we win.
Why isn't our place on the Android market?
Do you have $200,000 for me?
No.
I can make that happen with that kind
Well,
of money.
maybe the Android.
We have a caller. Hello, who's calling our place? Hello.
Howdy.
Hi, who's this?
It's Miss Jordan Chris Colford.
Guess who's sitting in the room with me, Mrs. Jordan Chris
Jenny.
Crawford? Jenny, would you like to say hello to Jenny?
Hi, Jenny.
Hi.
Do you have any questions for Jenny?
Well, I was going to ask her if she'd like to pronounce a bunch of words.
Wait, so Jenny, has this happened to you since you stepped off the plane?
Yeah,
People just
all
asking you
the time.
to pronounce words.
pretty much.
Okay. What words do you need for her to pronounce, Mrs. Colfer?
Well, I've got,
What?
I'll go with 5. How about that?
5?
5?
5 of them. Just 5.
Oh, 5 words.
5 words.
Okay. Go
What
ahead.
did y'all think I meant?
The word
The
5.
word
Yeah.
5.
it's like,
5!
No.
I'm going to pretend to be Jenny. Come on, it's an hour show, Mrs. Colfer. Let's go.
I'm coming. Okay, aluminum.
Aluminium?
Just say it. Okay,
I'm going to have to limit you to 3 if you can't make this any quicker.
privacy.
What was that?
Privacy.
Privacy.
yes.
Privacy. Go ahead.
8.
What was that?
8?
8?
8, like eating food like you just did it.
8?
Why would that have a
Never
different accent?
It just on the website it says differently, but I guess not. Okay.
Oh. Are you looking at a website called getbritishpeopletopronouncethis.com?
That's cheating.
No, it's bbcamerica.com.
Okay. Oh, it's bbcamerica.com. All right, well, we're going to jump ahead to our next question because we have a lot of stuff we want to get to. Thank you so much for calling in, Mrs. Colfer. We'll speak to you next week. Ordinary Girl writes, how do you convince someone that they aren't ugly/fat when society has already convinced them? She says she doesn't care what others think, but she herself thinks that she's ugly and fat. And this guy, he has been beaten up constantly, and he's cutting. He can't stop. He doesn't know what to do, and he's asking for advice. So this is just basically a question about having friends that are insecure, and is there anything you can say to a friend who's insecure that's going to give them security? Because I honestly don't think there is. Maddie.
So the most important thing to remember when trying to give people advice about, like, especially with those topics, and I guess that there's a girl and a guy, but I mean, like, because I'm a girl, so especially with girls, there's so much societal pressure to look a certain way, and I know that we've said that like 8 billion times. It's kind of like saying from day one on a reality TV show.
Oh,
But,
yeah, I'm not here to make friends.
Yeah, that is the best one.
From day one, I haven't been.
But I mean, you really have to know that you can't change them. You can give them as much advice as you want. You can, you can help them, think about it a certain way. You can't change what they believe and how they see themselves. You can try to help and give what you can give, but you have to know that you can't change them. because only they can change them, and that's the most important thing they tell us, especially at Teen Line, because we're on the phone. So, and we, especially with the more intense calls, like if we get a suicidal caller, and and we're trying to help them, and then what if they hang up the phone before we finish, talking to them? Then like we have to know that we're not there to solve their problem; we're there to listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the most important thing. So, you can give your friend as much advice as you can think of, as many things as you can Google. You can't change them, but you feel free to try. It's kind of cute.
Well, for the friend who's cutting and everything, I would say call a hotline, talk to somebody who's a professional who knows how to deal with that. And for me, what I've noticed that has worked with my friends, even though I wasn't thinking about it consciously and trying to make them more confident or anything, is just being a role model and just being confident myself around them. And I hang out with them a lot, and I talk to them about how I think about things, and it makes sense a lot of the time. And I've noticed that it's made my friends a lot more confident in themselves. And
You know what I think is really helpful is to really compliment the things that they really do well, and just don't blow a lot of smoke.
Mhm.
Just don't say things that aren't true. But repeat the things that really are true, so that they start to value the things in themselves that they have that are true, so that that eclipses whatever. Because everyone has things that aren't perfect, but the things that are really fantastic are the things that we should each be focusing on.
Mhm.
And so if your friend is like, you have a really amazing singing voice, your skin is like so clear, and your hair is like, I wish I had your hair. Like, just say what is true. Like, don't say a lot of stuff like, because if you're just saying things to placate them, like, oh no, he likes you, when you know that like that guy doesn't like her, but tell what the truth is. Tell the truth, and don't be afraid. Don't be shy with your compliments about the truth. Go ahead, Montana.
And with that stuff, it's often the truth that kind of wins out, because it's not always like how skinny or pretty you are. It's often more about like, are you like a good person? Do you have a good personality? Are you funny? Can you function in the real world? And those things are like more essential to being a person.
Yeah.
The other thing is, this is sort of part of the next question.
Yeah,
but
I put them together. And if you can go, why don't you go ahead and read that one, Montana?
Okay.
And then we can put these two together.
Okay, but then I have something to say.
Yeah.
So every day, this is by Emily. So every day I wake up, and the first thing I see in the morning are the pictures on my walls of models I wish I could look like. Then when I look in the mirror, I question myself, why can't I be them? Why can't I have their bodies? Why can't I be beautiful? I hate myself for it. I spend hours a day doing my makeup and hair trying to perfect it. It never works. I just feel fake and ashamed. I try not to snack and stick to 3 meals a day. Then I exercise as much as I can. I just never feel good enough. My legs are fat. I wish my stomach was flatter, and for my arms to be toned. I'm about 4'10" and weigh 115 to 120. My older sister calls me fat. She only weighs 85 pounds. So I guess my question is, how can I be happy with myself? And what I was thinking about that is, it's really kind of a problem that she puts these models of like uber skinny girls, like, and she looks up to them, because like that's not feasible for a lot of people, just due to like how you're built, how you're born, your bone structure. If you're like super skinny, you wouldn't be able to like survive as a person. It would be better to have models with more like a body type that fits hers, and try to, instead of being this idealistic like style of a skinny model, why not go for something like have more style and put more personality into how you want to reflect your image.
Right. Well, what I wrote was like, why are you having pictures up of people of how you want to look? Have pictures up of what you want to do, of people that are doing things. It's not about what you see in the mirror. It's about what you see when you go away from the mirror and go into the world. What are you doing? Who are you? These are the things that ultimately matter. And when I answered this question, I actually wrote, models are two things, starving and airbrushed. And I got a letter saying, Wheezy, did you just say that to make her feel better, or do you really feel that way? And I said, I honestly feel that way. As much as I know about the modeling industry, is that a perfectly skinny, adorable girl would go into a modeling office and they would say, go home and lose 10 pounds. And they're saying that to a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old. That's not okay. I'm not a fan of the modeling industry, and I know for a fact that they're airbrushed. So I'm not trying to slam models, and if you know more about this than I do and you'd like to speak, Yulia, please tell me the truth about models from Yulia.
Can you guys see me? So I interviewed someone recently, and he was in the fashion industry, and he was telling me that the reason why models are so skinny, it's not because that's like the ideal for women. It's just they're supposed to be made to look like walking mannequins. So that's why they're so skinny. It's not like they're really human.
Do you believe that? 'Cause
Yeah,
they could
think
make
so.
a mannequin any normal human size.
Well, I know,
Not
but I mean, they're
cardboard.
supposed to look like the ones at the stores. They're supposed to look really, really thin, so the clothes won't snag. Because if their bodies are fuller, the clothes will not look as right. So that's why the models are just made to be kind of like little robots. They're not really humans. They're not supposed to be real people.
Aren't they
And
trying to? It almost feels like they're trying to create an ideal that nobody could attain, like something unreachable, like so that the clothes seem otherworldly or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, because then it's about the clothes and not the person.
Yeah, Q.
When I first read this, the first thing that I thought was, when I wake up every morning, I wish that I could control time and fly, like something unattainable. And then I realize I can't do that, and I go on with my day. But, like, I think, like you said, pay attention to what you want to do, because doing things is like, once you get to that really, really thin size, like, you're not going to really be happy. Like,
You're too hungry to do anything.
yeah, and isn't 85 pounds severely
Yeah, that
underweight?
is.
Yeah, I was worried about
Unless
it.
she's 10.
Yeah, like, I know I hang out with 10-year-olds every day, and they're way more than 85 pounds. Like,
I would say that I hate when sisters and siblings call each other names that they know are like the most hurtful ones, because she knows she can get you with that, and so. You go ahead, Maddie. Let me let you guys talk. I have a lot to say, but I'm gonna let you guys talk. Go
Okay,
ahead,
so
Maddie.
I'll try to keep it short, but I have a sort of story.
Okay.
So I've been homeschooled the whole year. So I pretty much, my closet went from lots of clothes to not so much clothes, because I spent the whole year in my pajamas. Right, exactly. So I had to go shopping this weekend because, I'm around people, which means no pajamas, unfortunately. So the last time I was shopping was about a year ago. I don't really do that much shopping. And I swear that the sizes have gotten smaller, because you go and you look, and, like, the small is, like, a super extra small. And, like, the medium is, like, a extra small. And the large is, like, a small. And it's, like, stores don't even mostly have, like, mediums and larges. It's the weirdest thing and really upsetting, because most people are not small. Like, when they go shopping in a store. And, for those who are, of course, you're fine. But still, like, it's...
But then you
so,
notice...
But don't get, like, down on yourself because you didn't find something in your size in a store.
No, and then also everything in the size that people actually are is all sold out.
Exactly.
Because everyone bought it. Who needs
Right,
it.
because everybody, most people are that size.
Exactly.
So
And then
it's mostly
the sizes that are
gone.
left are the ones that make you go, wait a minute, who is this size?
Right, and I saw a study that they actually took the measurements of, like, a mannequin, and I said, could, like, the things that are inside a human body, like your vital organs, like your bones, everything, could that fit inside a mannequin's, like the shape of a mannequin? And on most, like, generic mannequins, the answer was no. Like all the functions that your body needs to do to live, you that will not fit inside a mannequin. It's not physically possible. So it's not like a goal that you should be looking up to. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. On the subject of models, like Yuli was talking about, when even just in the title of their, like, work, models, it implies that they're, like, not functioning as humans. They're functioning as basically a clothes rack. And my dad works with a lot of models because he's a photographer, and, like, from what he tells me, like, the modeling industry is just absolutely disgusting, because think about, like, okay, this girl thinks she's, like, too fat or whatever, but for a model, they're constantly, like, worried about their weight, while also their entire job all day is just to stand there and look like that. That So what I'm getting to is that the models that you look up to, it's not an attainable thing. It's a vapid shell of a human, and if you want to, like, if she wanted to be like that, she also has to know what costs go into it, as in basically like giving up everything sort of intellectual and then having your job end at like 25.
Yeah, your soul, your personality, it's a pretty empty profession. Your job is to not have a point of view or an opinion or to speak, but to just, I mean, I guess you could say that if you're supposed to be able to convey things with your posture and with your face. So, I mean, I'm sure there's talent to it, and I certainly don't mean to disparage models. Go ahead, Kyo.
Yeah, I was feeling like we were smack-talking models like a lot. I felt really bad, but
No offense, models. You just don't do too much.
Not a lot of models probably listening to
But
this.
a lot of models do go on to do really great things.
Yeah. I watch a lot of TED Talks, if you haven't noticed, and there was a TED Talk of like a model, and she was talking about how models have the lowest self-esteem that she had ever seen. Like,
because
so.
they are their appearance. And
Yeah.
when you are your appearance, you're never going to look good enough. You have to be more than your appearance. Kids, you have to be more than your appearance. And so take down those pictures of people that you don't need to look like and figure out what you do well and go and do it. Will, you had your hand up earlier?
Well, a few things. First, a quick question. I hear, well, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but aren't some of those photos, don't they use CGI in them anyway to like make them look smaller and like to brush up their face? And they do that, you know, kind of like in the hamburger commercials or whatever. You know, it's always so much better in the commercial than it is when you actually go there.
Yeah.
So a lot of it isn't even that real, and it's just kind of, but it's what it's doing is just like making society worse, and so they're trying to force girls to fit into something that is basically impossible.
Exactly.
But I'm wondering, like, do you know how old this girl is?
I don't know.
Because if she's still developing, what I have to say about that is, when I was younger, I'd say from 6th to 9th grade, I was constantly worried I wasn't going to grow, and then I'd just stay, because I was chubby and short, and all my focus was, I need to be tall for sports, you know, I want to look good, you know, I want to have abs, all that, I want to, you know, be skinny. But I figured, no, this would never happen, because, you know, I just have to, it's just not going to happen. But my mom would always say, just wait, you're a late developer, just go with it. I'm like, no, I need to be tall now. But eventually, you know, that all changed. I stretched out a bit, and I knew in the end, I was like, yeah, a little too late for me. But they say sometimes that late developers grow, you know, develop even more than, you know, the early bloomers.
Well, you know, you are only 17 years old, and so you
still got some.
And you're still growing.
Yeah.
And so when you get to college, and you're going to be, you know,
so
very dashingly handsome, and people are going to be like, "Why is he so sweet and nice?" Because he didn't spend his whole life being gorgeous. He just got gorgeous last year, so he actually developed a personality, which is like ideal.
No
like that's what girls are
shallowness.
looking for. I'm going to jump ahead because I know you guys have your hands up, but we've got a Jenny question here. And it includes Jenny's response, which she's going to read in person. So who wants to read the question to Jenny? Go ahead, Will. It's a question that begins from Ask Jenny from Haley. It's a question from Haley.
Okay. Hello. So I had my high school graduation party the other day. My mother's friend was downstairs with all us teenagers. Let's call him Paul. He had this 30-minute conversation with me, telling me that I needed to start being myself because he felt like I was hiding myself behind makeup and a personality front. He continued to tell me I was beautiful. The thing is this didn't faze me because I see him as an uncle type deal. After Paul handed out some drinks, we were already drinking all night, he asked me to come out with him to his car. Still seeing him as an uncle, I agreed. We went out and grabbed a soda. Then on the way back, he wrapped his arm around me. His hand soon was going lower, and then out of nowhere, his hand was on my butt, squeezing. I walked a little faster and left him outside to walk in by myself. Is it right to stay away from him the rest of the night? I don't know what to do. Should I tell anyone? I don't want him to leave my life because I still see him as an uncle to me. I don't know if it was on purpose or if it was the alcohol's fault. Should I wait until the next party to see if he tries to do it again? Please help me.
All right, so before you read your response, Jenny, let's just see what you guys think of this. I mean, I could tell you what I think, but this one's pretty controversial, so I really want to just get your gut kind of reactions. Q?
Our reactions, or we're not reading?
I mean, like, well, what Paul is this guy, like, what should she do about this? Because I mean, I do want to say that, like, any young lady who's blossomed into womanhood has probably had a similar story. I know I have. I know my mom has. My mom even told me that she had. Like, some guy that used to know my mom and her friends was suddenly he had his arm around her, and she felt his arm going toward her boob, and, like, she didn't know how to maneuver away from it without it being awkward. Like, as the young girl, you feel like you're not supposed to make a scene. Like, we're not, we're supposed to just be, we're never supposed to be, I don't know what the word, you're supposed to be like a people pleaser. Like, you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
what I'm
that's
trying to
what
say.
people naturally kind of want to do. People naturally
don't wanna
steer
hurt-
clear of, like, confrontation.
I don't want to
and-
hurt his feelings.
Yeah,
you know,
but,
like,
like-
his hand is on your boob, you can hurt his feelings.
I would say make a scene, tell someone, and it's not, even if you see him as an uncle and you still want to see him again, it's not really safe for you to be around him. He doesn't sound like a safe person.
I think,
for you.
to me, my thing is, you're done with Uncle Paul.
Yeah.
That was it. It's over. Because if that guy was just waiting for you to grow up, then he's not really, like, his opinion no longer matters. Because that's such a poor judgment call. Go ahead, Maddie.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing that you say about, especially, young girls, kind of after they start looking like young women,
Yeah.
The not make a scene thing is so true. I mean, like, the fact that, when stuff like that happens, like, she just kind of walked a little faster. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Make a scene. Make the biggest scene you can possibly imagine. Like, just go all out. Anything you've ever seen in a movie, like, just bring out your inner drama. Like, just do it. Because, but like you said, this has happened to everybody. When that happened to me, I honestly, I just stopped moving, and I was like, what are you doing?
Good.
And they were like, nothing. And I'm like, you were doing something. Stop. And they're like, sorry. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, Montana?
Yeah, okay. I love that you guys said make a scene because it's so true. Like, the reason this keeps happening is because people don't say anything about it. They're like, oh, well, maybe he was just drunk. First of all, alcohol doesn't just magically make you do things. It just amplifies the things that you were a little bit too smart or not drunk to do.
Right.
Makes you want to do them more, to be honest.
Yeah. So I feel bad for her because she still looks up to this guy as her uncle, but this is going really creepy real fast. This becomes the inappropriate touching uncle.
Uncles don't do that. Normal uncles don't do
Uncles don't do that.
Yeah, uncles
Or
don't do that.
Normal uncles don't.
Do you guys want to know what
Friends
Jenny
do.
said?
The
What?
good
Oh
uncle.
yeah.
Jenny?
I read the thing you said about
Yeah.
the alcohol.
It's
Yeah.
pretty much all been said. But, yeah, it was on purpose whether he was drunk or not. Alcohol does not mean that all your behaviour becomes an accident. And if he is the kind of person who would grope people when he's drunk, then he should know better than to drink, right? You should tell someone, a parent ideally, or another relative or adult you trust. This is totally inappropriate behaviour, whatever the circumstances, but especially as he's a friend of your mum's and you know he's in a position of authority and trust where you're concerned. And stay away from him and don't wait for it to happen again.
Excellent, excellent. Maddie.
No, you go first.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say, I totally agree with you, and I love the fact that you said mum, not mom. 'Cause that's amazing. Because I got really confused. I was watching James Bond, and they, like, addressed, like instead of ma'am, they said mom, and I was like, why is he calling her mom? I don't understand what's happening. So, yeah, that was awesome. But, yeah, definitely. I read an article about how alcohol affects the brain, and what it does is it inhibits the judgment, which pretty much, it's exactly as Montana was saying, like, the stuff that you're too smart or not drunk to do is the stuff that you do because the judgment part of your brain is now, like, swimming in, alcohol, pretty much. So it's like, it just kind of stops being, oh, this is a good idea, this is not a good idea. That just stops. So it's like, ooh, I have an idea, let's do it, no matter what. So it's true.
Yeah, and there is a point where, like, a little girl starts to look like a young lady, but real men can have that passing thought and then go, but she's... Yeah, and so that's what a real man does. A real man does. My relationship with this kid is so important to me that I would never cross that line. Montana.
Oh, and the other thing I was kind of worried about when she said, should I wait to see if he does it again? If he were to do it again, it's going to get worse. It always escalates from there.
Yeah, especially
So-
if you have a tiny crush on him.
Definitely.
Because he will really take advantage of that.
And what I think she should do is not only tell her mom and tell, like, whoever's going to, like, kick him out, but, like, also stand up to him because it's important for him to know that she's just not going to, like, submit to that and be subject to this weird relationship that's going to screw everything up.
If you feel safe doing that, at least. I mean,
Yeah, I
well,
mean,
do it in front of people.
and as you go through the rest of your life in the workplace and in other areas, men are going to put their hands on you. It just happens. You get to take their hand off and say, "Stop!
No.
Don't touch me."
that's so crazy. Like, I didn't realize you all seem to have, like, something that happened, like, nothing like that. I feel like has happened to
never
me.
happened to
Like,
you?
not that I can remember. Maybe I blocked the memories.
My thing was always to like pretend I thought it was a joke because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. So I'd be like,
You should like laugh extra hard just to like make them
but
feel
you know,
bad.
everyone has different ways of handling it, but you don't have to just put up with it because you're trying to be, you know, not making a scene or not hurting someone's feelings. No one gets to touch you. So we're going to wrap up. Thank you, Jenny, for being here with us. We're so happy you're here in America. We're Our Place Out Loud, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.